Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. So in this video we're going to be looking at paper 3 from the CIE ICT IGCSE course. We're doing October November 2021 paper. So paper 3 is a practical paper which is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. It includes the data analysis part, which is spreadsheets, and that's what we're going to be focusing on in this video. And also there's a HTML and CSS aspect of this paper as well. Okay, so let's go down to the second page. The first thing that we need to check to see is if we have the correct files. So we should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 files. Let me have a quick look in the folder. Yep, we have 10 items. And we have a JPEG, an MP4, a JPEG, CSV files, CSS, text files. Let me double check. Yeah, it looks like it's the same files. Okay, so but before we can start with the data analysis part, we need to set up the evidence document. So we need to create a new word process document. Sometimes they do provide you with an evidence document, but in this example they haven't. So I'm just going to right click, select Microsoft Word document. Is there a name that we need to use? Let me just see. Save this evidence document into your work area, followed by your center number. Yep, so we basically need to save the file with this file name. So here we have the center number. I can use 5, 6, 7, 8, and then here we can use the candidate number. Yeah. So let me copy this. Should we name this file? And in the middle we will have the center number, so 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we will have the candidate number 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we've done that, we can double click and we can open up this document. Okay, on this document you need to have your name, center number, candidate number appearing on every single page. So what we can do is we can go to the header, and I always choose the option which gives us 3 columns, and we can insert the information here. So your name, center number, and candidate number. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. You will need your evidence document during the examination to place screenshots when required. So I'm not sure if we are going to be using it for the spreadsheet part of this exam paper. Let me double check. Let me see. Some printouts. Yes, for question 17 we will be taking a couple of screenshots, so we'll get to that point soon. Okay. Okay, so you work for a company planning to recycle plastic waste washed up on the beaches of many islands in the Maldives. You will create a spreadsheet to calculate the cost of a return journey from the recycling center to an island to collect this plastic waste. All currency values must be in US dollars, displayed to 2 decimal places. So this is really important. I'll just highlight it in a different color so I know we need to refer back to this. Okay, open and examine the file n21island.csv in a spreadsheet package. So that's the first file. Okay, let me open and close down this file here. This is from the PowerPoint task from paper 2. Get rid of that. So this is the first file. Okay. It looks like it could be used as part of a VLOOKUP. It's like a table array. That's what it looks like to me so far. This file will be used to provide data for your spreadsheet, and the data must not be copied or the file changed. Okay, open and examine the file n21costs.csv in your spreadsheet. So cost. Okay, here we go. I think this might be the spreadsheet where we will be entering formulas at some point. So we have an island code here, M1. I wonder if it links into here, and I think it does. Can we see an M1? There we go. Yeah, so it links in to this record here. Okay, so it's good to just work out what you're looking at first before we start answering any questions. Okay, so place in the footer, right aligned, the text costs prepared by. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading ahead. Was double checking where I'm placing the footer in the first file or the second file. It looks like it's going to be in the second file. So let me read that again. So place in the footer, right aligned, the text cost prepared by. Let me just copy that. So to insert a footer, we go to insert. If you can't see the footer option, you can search for it here. So header and footer. Go to the footer. So right aligned, we need this text here, cost prepared by. And what do we need next? By space, your name. Okay, you should always include your full name. And the next thing that we need to include is your center number. And for the center number, I will use 5678. Oops, it's not typing. Let me just go ahead and start typing again. 5678. And normally we have to include the center number. Oh, sorry, no, we got the candidate, we got the center number, and I've used 5678. And we also need to include a candidate number. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just put space in there. And what's next? So followed by a space, your name, which we've done, center number 5678, candidate number 1, 2, 3, 4, then a space, followed by on, followed by a space, and then today's automated date. So current date. There we go. And if you click anywhere else, you can see the date has appeared. This is on the right hand side. If you go back to normal view, click on any cell, you can go back to normal. You won't see the header and footer appear now, but if you go to the print preview, you can see it's at the bottom of the page, and it should appear on multiple pages if we have more than one page. Okay. The next thing, and this is really important you guys do this, save this as a spreadsheet file, not as a CSV. If you save it as a CSV and you enter formulas, these formulas will be saved only as values, so it's just the numbers. So it's really important you save this as a spreadsheet file with the file name N21 costs underscore center number underscore candidate number. So for example, N21 costs, and then in the middle section you can put your center number, so in my case 5678. At the end we can put the candidate number. So it's really important you save your work in the correct format into your source folder as an Excel workbook. Okay. Let me change the middle section. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Obviously guys, in the exam you use your details provided. So for now I'm using 5, 6, 7, 8 for my center number, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the candidate number. Save. All done. Let me just highlight this. Change it back to the original color. Okay, question 2. Insert 2 new rows above the first row. So let's right click, insert. Let's right click, insert. So we've got 2 new rows. Okay, so you obviously have to right click on the numbers and you can insert 2 new rows. Merge cells A1 to C1. A1 to C1, so let's merge the cells. Click on this option here. And enter the text, cost of plastic removal for one island. So make sure guys, when you do enter the text, You're not making spelling mistakes, you're including capital letters when shown. Okay, done. Format the merged cell from A1 to C1 to contain a white 26-point text on a dark blue background. Okay. I think they said dark blue, so let me just go for a dark blue. 26. Leave as that font. They're not being specific if it's sans serif or serif, so we'll just leave it like that. Sorry guys for the cough. I'm not feeling too well these days. Format the merged cell A1C1 to contain a white 26-point text on a dark blue background. So that's done. And that was just 6 marks, just that part. Okay, so it's really important we are picking up these formatting marks. Now we need to format the spreadsheet so it looks like this. So you can see the height of the first row has been increased. So we can do that as well. The text has been wrapped. Just going to increase the size. There we go. And the text looks like it's been center aligned vertically and also horizontally, so we can do that as well. Okay, so it's in the middle of the cell vertically and also horizontally. The second row, if you look, actually I just wanted to double check. Yeah, it wasn't a dark blue background, I was just double checking. Obviously here you might get confused because it looks black, but the black background was meant to be a dark blue. The second row you can see has been decreased in size, so you can decrease the size of the second row. Okay. And it looks like the first 2 columns, the text, we'll focus on the first table initially. For the first 2 columns, the text looks like it's right aligned. So we can change the alignment to the right hand side. And this is all left aligned, so this should be all left aligned. I think it is already. Yep, so that's fine. This is on the left hand side, so I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to change that, but this looks like it's right aligned as well. Okay, and do we need to change anything else? Let's double check everything. Cost. I think that's done. Let's save the changes. Okay, so I think we're getting to the part where we are going to be entering some formulas and functions. Okay, so that's done. Right, question 4. In cell B12, enter a function to look up the name of the island using the code entered in cell B11. So we need to basically look up this code here to get a name of the island in this cell B12. Okay, and we can use this table array. Okay, so the island name is in the second column. Okay, and we have an exact match here, so that is the island name there. So let's use the VLOOKUP function. So B12 equal VLOOKUP. What do we want to look up? We want to look up the island code, comma, the table array is in the other sheet. Make sure you've opened up the sheet before you start the VLOOKUP. And we can highlight just to the second column. And since it's an external sheet, you'll notice it's absolute cell referenced automatically. The dollar signs have appeared, which means this table is going to be locked. It's not going to move anywhere. We want to refer to the second column and we want the exact match. Okay, so let's close the bracket, press enter, and here we have the name of the island. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let me just have a quick look at something. Cost of Okay, I just want this to show up like this is. I just wanted it to be like that, so that's why I've changed those columns. Okay, so we're done question 4. That was 5 marks, relatively easy enough to pick up. In cell B13, so where is B13? So it's a good thing we actually have this picture above. It's going to be this one here. So distance from recycling plant. Enter a function to look up the distance of the island from the recycling plant. So again, we can use the same lookup value. The distance is in the 4th column. Okay. So again, let's do the VLOOKUP. Comma. Let's go to the table array. And we want to go all the way across, all the way down, comma. We want to refer to the 4th column, and again we want the exact match. Close the bracket, enter. So we got 75. Where did 75 come from? Let's do a quick double check. So if I go up to M1, so that was the name of the island, and that's the distance. Okay. So guys, even if you get to this point, you've done a couple of VLOOKUPs, you've done a formatting, I think you have picked up some decent marks already, but hopefully you can pick up some more marks. Let's keep going. So question 4 and 5 we use functions. I think for question 6 we need to use a formula. So B14. Okay, so B14 is this cell here, return distance. Okay, enter in cell B14 a formula to calculate the total distance travelled to the island and back. Okay, so we need to go to the back to the island as well. So this is distance from the recycling plant, but we would want to go back as well. So we'd have to multiply this by 2. Okay, so it's like a return journey as well. Okay, so we got 150 miles. Save that. Highlight this as complete. Okay, so question 7. In cell B15, enter a formula to calculate the number of hours the return journey will take. This is calculated as basically the return distance, okay, which is going to be, let me have a look at the cell. Yep, so this cell here, so B14, okay, and that's going to be divided by these two values multiplied together. So the operating speed, okay, I wonder where the operating speed is going to come from. Let's have a quick look here. Yep, it's from up here, operating speed multiplied by the contents of cell B6. So yeah, this cell here. So it's basically these two multiplied. Okay, so let's give this question a go then. So it's going to be equals. Let me double check what we're doing again. Return distance. So B14. And that's going to be divided by, and then in brackets, because we need to work out these two values multiplied together. To operating speed multiplied by the contents of B6. Let me double check. This cell here. So whatever this calculation is here, it's going to be divided by what's contained in B14. So let's press enter. Okay, so here's the hours. Okay, so 8.69. Okay, let's see what we need to do now. Round this time up to the nearest whole hour. So we can do the round up. So once we've done that, we can type here round up. and a number of digits because we want it to the whole to like 0. I'm going to type here 0. We don't want any decimal places, so close the bracket, press enter, and it's been rounded up to 9 hours. Okay, let me just save the changes there. So with this question, guys, what we had to do initially was we had to divide the return distance amount of miles, so 150, divided by these two values multiplied together, and then it had to be rounded up to the nearest hour, whole hour, okay, with no decimal places. Okay, so that's that question done. Let me just press enter and save the changes. Okay, question 8. In cell B16, enter formula to calculate the fuel used for the journey. This is calculated as the return journey time. So where's B16? B16 is here. So let me just type in a formula. So what do we need to look at? The return journey time. So we can click on this cell here, B15. And I think it's going to be a multiplication. Fuel consumption. And where is that? It's this one here, so B4. So you guys, you need to just be careful and look at the right data you need to use. Enter. Okay. Nothing about rounding it up and down, so we can just leave as it is. Guys, the clue is also in the marks scheme. There's only one mark available, so don't try to overcomplicate the question. When it is normally a formula, you're doing something as basic as this, guys. Okay, equal one cell maybe multiplied by another cell, or divided by, or added, or subtracting. Okay, so look at the number of marks available. Sometimes you may be confused and you may end up doing something a lot more complicated than you should be doing. Okay. Again, question 9, in cell B17, there's only one mark available. B17, enter formula to calculate the fuel cost for the journey. So B17. So here we are, so equals. What we need to do is multiply the fuel used for the journey by the cost per litre. Okay, so again you just need to, so above was how much fuel was used, and then now we're looking at the fuel cost. So basically we used 952 let me say that again, 925 litres of fuel pretty much, and we have to multiply it by the price per litre, okay, which is the value in that cell. Done. Okay, done. Just need to highlight, not been highlighting as I've been answering these questions. Okay. So I think with this paper, guys, it's really important you do take your time to read the questions. I don't think it's anything different or difficult what we're doing so far, but I think it's really important you take the time just to read the questions, look at the spreadsheet, and try to, make those logical decisions on what needs to happen. Okay, let's now have a look at question 10. So in cell B18, so let me see where the cell B18 is. Yeah, so it must be the cell here. Number of crew required. Okay, let's see. Enter formula so that if the return journey time is, so the number of crew is basically based on the return journey time. So less than 10 hours, it displays the value 4. Okay, so let's start with the first part. So it's going to be an if statement because you can see we have multiple conditions, and it's going to be a nested if because we have more than one condition. So let's start with the first part. So equal if, and what are we checking to see? So we're focusing on the return journey. It's less than 10 hours. Okay, so in which cell is the return journey in? is here, return journey time. Okay, if this is less than 10 hours, obviously in this case it's 9, then 4 people, 4 crew will be required. So if this is true, then we can say 4. Okay, and that was the first part of the if statement, which was fairly straightforward, nothing too complicated. Okay, let's have a look at the second part. So we have another condition, so comma, if, and again we are going to be checking this cell, greater than 10, okay, and less than or equal to 15. Okay, and if that's true, we want to display 6. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and read the next part. Greater than 15, it displays in, the value 9. Now there's a couple of different ways in which you can do this. I'm going to do it like this, guys. So if it's greater than 10 and less than or equal to 15, I'm going to focus on this part. Okay, this is what I would normally do. So if it's less than or equal to 15, so we're checking this cell here. If it's less than or equal to 15, we want to say, if it's true, 6 numbers of 6 6 are required for the crew. I don't know what I'm saying. So that's if that's true. Now, if it's not going to be 4 or 6 members of crew that we need, then the value is going to be 9. I don't really need to look at the rest of this. Okay, so it's going to be 9. So this is how I would do it. Let me close the first bracket and the second bracket. Okay, so this is how I would do it. Okay, like this. And let me press enter and let me see what we have. So we have 4. Okay, and this is true because it's obviously it's less than 10 hours. I want to change it now. I'm just going to change the numbers around so we get something that's greater than or equal to 10 and less than or equal to 15. So I'm going to try and put in 10 and 15 to see if it returns 6. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, just for the sake of checking to see if this is working, I'm just going to move that, copy and paste this formula here. I'll copy and paste it back in later. Okay, let's see if I type in 10, I get 6, that's fine. If I type in 14, 6, 15, 6. Now what should happen is if I type in anything greater than that, so greater than 15, it should display the value 9. So 16. Yeah, and that's worked as well. Okay. What I'm going to actually do is just press Ctrl Z a few times. So we go back to the original formula. Yeah, get rid of that. Yep, so this is how I would have done the if statement. Okay, so what we checked for initially was if it's less than 10. So that would be 9, 8, obviously going down to 0. And then if that's, or like 1 for example, if it's 1 hour, 4 members of the crew are required. If that's not true, we check for the second condition. So if it's not less than 10, so 9 or below, then the starting point for the next test will be 10, and we're checking all the way up till 15. And if the number fits within that range, then we need 6 numbers or 6 members of crew. And then if that's not true, the number is greater than 15, 16, 17 or anything else, then it will be 9 instead. Okay, question 11. Cell B19, enter formula to calculate the cost of the crew for the return journey. Now each journey will have 2 crew members paid a crew rate A, and the other crew members will be paid a crew rate B. Okay, so we got 2 rates of pay. Let me just highlight the first rate. Okay, and the first rate is $8 per hour. So I'm just going to highlight that in blue. well, let's choose another color actually, so it's a bit lighter, yellow. Okay, and let me change the color here as well to something a little bit different. So okay, and 2 crew members will be paid at this rate here. Okay, so I'm just going to put some notes down. The 2 crew members, sorry, that's my son in the background making a bit of noise, will be paid at this rate. Okay, the second part of the question, guys, is and the other crew members will be paid at crew rate B. So any other members, so let's just change that to green, for example, and then if I go back to the Excel, change that to green. So any other members that we have on board will be paid $4. So 2 crew members will be paid $8 per hour. We will have to look at this value as well at some point. How many hours is the total return journey? Okay, so 2 will get paid $8 per hour, which will have to be multiplied by 9, as well as these guys who any other members of staff or crew will be paid for. So yep, I think I've got all of the information that we need. So there's probably a few different ways of doing this. I'm going to start off like this. So equals B15. So let's look at the number of hours in total. Okay, and this is going to be multiplied, and then in brackets I'm going to do my calculation. So the first thing I want to do is I want to multiply the 2 crew members who are being paid at this rate. So multiplied by so B7 times 2. Okay, and this is going to be added to the rest of the crew members who are getting paid $4, but we need to work out how many of these we have. If I was to look at the example here, guys, we only have 4, okay, but this number could easily be different dependent on the if statement we did previously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick formula. So this minus 2, because if this number is different, minus 2. So let's say if it was 6 minus 2, we'd have 4 left. But in this case, it's going to be 4 minus 2. We're going to have 2 left, and them 2 who are left, their rate of pay is going to be multiplied against this value here. Okay, and I'm going to close the bracket. And just before I close this bracket, let's see if I can explain this again. So in these brackets here, we're getting a total pay for all crew members who are being paid by rate A or rate B, and then that's going to be multiplied by the number of hours in total. The first thing that we're trying to find out is those crew members who are getting paid rate A, $8 per hour. So it's going to be basically this amount times 2, because we know only 2 will get $8 per hour. So that's the first part. Okay, so once we find out this answer, then we need to work out how many other crew members we have on board. Okay, so if the first 2 are getting paid rate A, then we know everyone else is going to be paid rate B. So we need to just basically use this formula here, B18, take rate 2, which will give us the number who are getting paid rate B, and whatever that number is, it's going to be multiplied by B8 here. I hope that makes sense. Let me just press enter, and then we have a figure. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete my little notes I made for myself, and I'm going to delete any colours I've used for myself. So I hope that does make a bit of sense what we've just done. Okay, in cell B20, enter a formula to calculate the total cost of the journey, which includes the fuel, the crew, and the port taxes. Okay, I'm just trying to see. The port taxes are here. So equals, we're just going to do a formula. So We've got the fuel cost plus the cost of the crew, which is B19, plus the port taxes. Enter. Okay, so we've got the final figure here. Okay. So now what we need to do is apply appropriate formatting to cells containing numeric values in the spreadsheet. So that includes the dollars to 2 decimal places that we identified at the top. Okay, yep, 2 decimal places. Okay. So if I go back, let's see where we need to apply the dollars to. So probably apply them to there. Okay. That's that done. Okay. Fuel cost. You can apply it here as well. Port taxes. And fuel cost. You can probably apply it there as well. So I'm just looking to see where we can apply the dollars to. I don't think we can apply it to anywhere else. The formatting is here for here, so I'm not sure we should apply the dollar sign there. Let me just have a quick think. What do you reckon? Yes, I will actually apply the dollar signs here as well. Let me save the changes. Okay, and let me see what we need to do now. Okay, so we need to print your spreadsheet off showing a formula. Make sure the row and column headings are displayed. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to formulas. We're going to click on show formulas and make sure you extend the columns to show the full formulas. Okay. So when you are printing your spreadsheet, show the formulas, make sure row and column headings are displayed. So what we do is we go to file and we go to print, and let's fit the sheet on one page. Okay, let's make this to landscape, and we can see all the formulas are being displayed. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to add the row and column headings. So if I go to, I'll show you again, I did it quite quickly. Custom scaling options, sheet, click on row and column headings. You can see we've got the letters at the top to identify each column, and then the numbers on each side. Okay. Right, grid lines are displayed. Let me just check. The grid lines are not displayed, so what you can do is you can go to custom scaling options, sheet. You can select the grid lines to be displayed. Okay, so we've got the grid lines. Page orientation, I've already changed it to landscape. Contents of all the cells are fully visible and can easily be read. So yeah, I'm just looking at this. It looks, everything's readable. I'm happy, and we can send this to the printer. Okay, so that's the first printout done. Save the changes, and let's take off the formulas. Okay, when you do print out, guys, obviously make sure your name, census number and candidate number appears on every page. Now the second printout, what we need to do is print the spreadsheet showing the values. So it's going to be printed this time on a portrait page. So if I go to file and print, we can change this to portrait. Okay. Row and column headings are not displayed and grid lines are not displayed, so we can take this off. So we can go to custom scaling options, take these options off. Okay. Yep, and we can see the dollar signs as well, that's fine. Contents of all the cells are fully visible, easy to read. And you can see my name is in the footer here. Yeah, we can go ahead and we can print this off as well. So that was the second printout, job done. If you do receive your printouts in the exam and you realise there are some mistakes, and obviously go ahead and print again. Right guys, what we've got to do now for question 16 is change the data to calculate the cost of plastic removal from the island with the code G5. So you click on the island code, you change this, and I'm hoping everything else will change because of the VLOOKUPs which we've got in place. Yes, that's changed. We've got some new costs. Okay, and again we need to print out again to the portrait page. Row and column headings are not displayed, contents of cells are fully visible. So we can go ahead and we can print this off like this. Okay, save the changes. So that's the third printout. Okay, let's now look at question 17. So we need to open and examine the file n21charts.csv. Sorry for the coughing again, guys. Let me open up the file. Okay. So what we have here is, it says atoll, and then these different names, and average distance. What I'm going to do is look at this sheet here. I think atoll must be like the region. Okay. So in this first example, Gafu, and we had all of these different islands within that area or region. Okay, so that's what that means. Let's read the question. Let's see what we need to do. So in cells B2 to B10, cells B2 to B10 must calculate the average distance from the recycling centres to the islands. Okay, in each atoll, region or area. We need to round it to the nearest mile. Something which we can do later. I don't want to focus on this yet. So enter a formula in B2 that displays the average distance for the islands in the first atoll, and then replicate this formula in cells B3 to B10. So I'm going to show you what we're trying to do here first of all. So if I do this equal average, sorry, don't highlight these figures. Just looking at these averages here, the distance. This is the answer we get. 220 and dot 6. So that's the average distance from here, from this region. Okay. And I'll leave that number there just for now. I'll delete it later. What we want to do is, if I go back to this table here, is to work out the average distance for all of these atolls, regions. So we need to use an average if, which is very similar to a sum if. It's where we use the criteria. The criteria is going to be from this column here. So if I type in, first of all, average if, there's three parts to the average if, the range. So the range is where is the criteria. So the criteria is in this range of cells here, and since it's an external spreadsheet, you can see absolute cell referenced automatically, comma. What is the criteria that we are looking for? So the criteria is here. So in that range of cells, we are looking for Gafu, if I'm saying it right, comma again, and then where are we trying to find the averages from? And that's the distances, which should be in this range of cells here. So how the formula is going to work is, it's going to basically look up the criteria and then work out all of the averages from that criteria. Okay, so if I close this bracket, I'm hoping to see the same figure that we saw here, and we have. So it's pretty much done the same thing. Okay, we are going to be replicating the formula, but before we do, we need to round to the nearest mile. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go to here, and we're going to say round. Okay, and then comma to the nearest mile, maybe up or down, so we could just use round. Close the bracket, enter. Okay, so we got 221. And if we go back to here, yeah, so obviously that's gone up to the closest miles, so that's fine. Okay, so we can delete that now. So that's the average if, guys, using criteria, very similar to the sum if. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this formula down. Okay, job done. So I'm going to come back to this, guys, in a second, but for evidence 1, take a screenshot of the formula used to calculate the average distances. Place this in your evidence document. Make sure all the formula are fully visible and can easily be read. So formulas, show formulas, open up the formulas in full. We just click here. Let's use my snipping tool. Okay, copy. Go to my evidence document and let me just type in here evidence. Let me spell it right. Can't spell today. Evidence 1. There we go. And there's the first piece of evidence. Okay. Right. Let me just make another evidence heading. Save the changes here. So the second thing that we need to do is to create and fully label an appropriate chart to display this data. So if we go back to Excel, let's take off the formulas. I think what we'll do is we'll make a simple bar chart. Okay, there. And let's add some labels to the graph. Okay, so the first label could be, let me just go back to the question. This is the title which I'm going to take. So average distances from the recycling centre to the islands in each atoll. So I think that's a suitable title. Let me just copy and paste that in. Average distance okay, that will do. I think that's fine. Just going to make this graph a bit bigger so the title doesn't take up as much space. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I've done that now. The next thing that we can do is we can add some labels to each axis. So axes as well, so just tick that box there. At the bottom is, oh my gosh, what have we done there? Okay, just undo. So I'm going to add some labels, okay? Okay, so for here, we're going to write average number of miles. It's quite difficult to spell looking upwards like that. I think that looks fine. And here we're going to write name of atoll. Drop in the comments below if you know what that is. Okay, so now I've done the graph, I've got a suitable title. Take a copy of your chart and place this into your evidence document. Okay, so let me copy this. And let me place this into evidence 2. Save. And we'll probably print it off later once we've done the HTML CSS part. And we have come to the end of this paper. So this was, or not this paper, just the spreadsheet part, which was actually, it just seemed like we went on forever. I'm not going to save any changes there. We'll save the changes here. So we've basically completed the spreadsheet part of this paper. You can see this paper dominates, the spreadsheet part dominates this paper. Normally you have 80 marks in a paper and there may be an even split between a spreadsheet and the HTML CSS part. But it looks like the majority of the marks will be coming from the spreadsheet part of this paper. I think the HTML part looks fairly straightforward. Yeah, it's quite short actually. Yeah, so we've come to the end of the spreadsheet part of October, November. If you have exams coming up in the next few weeks, good luck. Please share the channel, subscribe to the channel. Please drop your comments below. My apologies for the coughing here and there. I'm not feeling great these days. Thank you for your time, and again, good luck in your exams. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.